Live. Let's see, we're on YouTube and Facebook and my personal Facebook page. So hope you're doing well today. Mark Dolfini here. Do you have any idea how frustrating it is when you're in the sales process and all of a sudden you forgot to ask one of the critical questions that you know that you should have asked and you forgot? So I get it. I get it. So since I'm broadcasting on my personal page and also the landlord coach page, I'm going to make this somewhat real estate specific, but also not real estate specific for you people who are out there selling things and you're having some issues with that. So there are three critical questions that you need to be asking when you are in any sales process. And that's what I want to talk about today. So of course, I'm going to be a little bit more real estate specific, but I have made some of these questions and we're going to talk about that here. And so one of the first, let me tell you a quick story. So there's no, one of the time when I was out showing a property and they had called up about a house that they were interested in, right? So set up the appointment and go out there. And for whatever reason, they thought the property was $625 a month. And this property was $1,625 a month. And even though I thought, the ad was correct. I thought that maybe I had misposted something. They missed the dollar sign and for whatever reason, and the comma after the one, and thought it was $625 a month. And this is a property in a neighborhood that was clearly not anything that should have been priced at $625 a month. So there's some culpability on their part? Sure. And did they waste my time? Absolutely. But did they waste their time? Absolutely. And I don't particularly want to be working with people that are not valuing their time because that means they're not going to value mine. So one of the critical questions, one of the first critical questions I'm going to ask is, what is your budget? Now, if you're selling a thing on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, and you don't need to ask these questions, but generally you're going to need to find out, especially if you're selling a product that may be somewhat of a commodity, you need to ask them what their budget is, especially if you've got multiple products to sell, because the problem is that they have a problem. They're coming to you because they're in some sort of pain in their life, maybe not necessarily physical pain, but they're in some sort of emotional pain that your product can solve for them, right? That's the whole point of them coming to you. So when they're coming to you and you're asking them basically, okay, so you have this pain in your life. What have you budgeted to take care of this problem? You don't really say it that way, but if you're hungry, that's the pain in your life, then you'd say, okay, fine. What have you budgeted to solve that problem? And there's, so if you say, well, I want $5. Okay, cool. That's going to get you at the dollar menu, right? And at McDonald's, right? So that could solve the hunger problem, right? When you're looking at other things, that's why it's important to make sure that you're talking to them about finding out what their budget is. You want to find out what their pain is, and then of course you want to find out what their budget is to solve that pain. So now, and again, in the context of when you're asking them what, when you're in their question process, you really wanted to find out, you're having this conversation so you can find out what their needs are. And when, as you're having this conversation, the next critical question you want to ask them is, when do you need it, right? When is it important? How quickly are you wanting to solve this problem? That's basically what you're asking them. So first of all, what's your budget for solving this problem? And then secondly, how quickly do you want to solve this problem? When do you need this thing, right? So, and going back to the leasing realm, I'm going to ask them, how quickly are you looking to move in? Basically, when do you need it? And they may say, oh, I'm not looking to move until October. Well, they're not in a great deal of pain, so there's really not any urgency for them to move, and there's really not any real scarcity that they're worried about. Urgency and scarcity are two main things which drive people to make decisions quickly, right? And you don't want someone that's going to take 4 months to make a decision unless you know that property is going to be available in October. Okay, fine. But you ask them, if the place is open now, you don't want to keep the property open for that long. Or if you've got a product to sell today, you don't want to wait 4 months for that sale. I mean, maybe it depends on what the sale is. Maybe if it's a high ticket item or that sort of thing. But you want to make sure that you're utilizing your time today to get to get the activity that you're wanting as soon as possible, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, when do you need it? So what's your budget number first and foremost? And secondly, when do you need it? And then third, who else needs to be involved in this decision? Who are the decision makers that need to be involved here? And why is that important? Because nothing is more frustrating when you get to you've got the budget set, you've figured out they need it within a couple weeks, everything's working out well, and you're ready to close the deal, and they go, well, I really need to ask my wife about this, or my husband about this, or my mom or my dad or whatever, right? Well, like you're ready to do this thing. They already told you how this thing is great for them. It fits their budget, it fits their needs, it solves their problem. It will take them out of that emotional pain, but yet they need to ask someone else because maybe they're the real decision maker, or they're not the only one in charge of the finances. That is super, super frustrating. So you want to understand that up front in terms of who else needs to be involved in the decision-making process. So with all of those things coming together, at least then you're going to have a reasonable expectation to know that when, especially in the leasing process, you're there showing them the house or the apartment or whatever it is that you've got, and you're finding out, oh, wait, someone else needs to be involved in this. Well, I'm confused. I thought you said that, you were the sole decision maker. Well, that's not, then that they're probably not real serious. You just move on from there. I don't spend a whole lot of time with people that are going to jerk me around like that. And maybe they are serious. Maybe he said, well, things changed, and, my wife does want to see it now. Okay, well, it may not be here when you get back. It probably would be a good idea to get her on the phone now, or maybe take a video, and get that done. Not to try to be a jerk about it, but you want to infuse some scarcity and urgency on that, because realistically, maybe this is a place that you are having difficulty getting rented, or you have a product that is a little bit difficult to sell, but you have to convey to them some sense of urgency that your time is valuable and not to be chewed up on nonsense. Especially if they're not going to be taking you seriously and treating you like a professional. So those are the three main questions. So again, let's go over real fast. What's your budget? When do you need it? And who else needs to be involved? You get those nailed down before you set an appointment, and I promise you're going to close a lot more deals, and people are definitely going to be taking you much more seriously and not wasting your time. That's all I have for today, guys. Hope you are having an amazing day. Please remember to keep your foot on the gas, and always remember to value your free time, because if you don't, someone else will. Take care.